dive into the world of the so-called wokies and watch them as their beliefs are dismantled right before our eyes.
As if there's like a really important like social aspect to like being a man, you know, that just doesn't simply get like transcribed by your chromosomes. You think that there's like something more to like humans than just like.
I think there are masculine qualities that attach to biological manhood that have been generalized. They don't necessarily apply to everyone because you can have effeminate men who don't necessarily fit those categories. If you were to ask me what makes a good man or a useful man, I would give you a description that would include social categories like protecting your family, going out and earning, making sure that you build institutions in your society, right?
So nothing that has to do with chromosomes.
But
nothing like chromosomes.
In the end, if you have to ask for a definition of male or female, what you're talking about is the most irreducible form of this is the biology, which is why you can uncover a body from 30,000 years ago, and a scientist can tell you whether it is a male or a female without ever knowing how that person lived.
As soon as I saw that was Ben Shapiro, I knew that was going to go poorly for the guy in the audience. Ben Shapiro, part of what makes him seem so smart is he just talks so fast. If you can talk fast, you seem smart.
I'm a feminist, and I don't hate men.
Okay, so you are a self-described feminist. What is a woman?
Why do you want to know?
I'm infinitely curious.
What's a man?
Cue the Jeopardy music.
You're looking at one.
Why do you think that that's important to you, what a man and a woman is?
So
do you treat men and women differently?
Well, it depends in what context, though. Politically, no. Under the law, no. Should they be treated differently in societal customs and norms? Yes.
Why?
Like, we should open doors for women. We should honor and protect women.
I want to honor and protect you, man.
Okay, great.
Do you
Thank
not honor
you. Women are
protected?
worthy of protection. Can you tell me what a woman is since you're a feminist?
You're saying these things because you're trying to get a gotcha.
You're
okay,
a feminist. Shouldn't you be able to tell me what a woman is?
I'm a feminist.
I'm just going to jump in and say real quick that if you can't answer that question, I don't think I want to share a country with you. I'm going to say it, all right? You should be able to say it's an adult human female. That's a woman. Thanks, Matt Walsh.
Probably important to feminism. What is the woman that you're trying to advance and protect? Isn't that integral to is that the whole feminist project? The war against
what a woman is the only way that you can get a gotcha over everybody else. Why is it so important to you to define things in certain categories? How does that help your day-to-day life? Like
what other categories in the human species are there besides male and female?
Well, I just think that categorization is usually unhelpful when we're trying to improve society, right?
I have XY chromosomes.
Okay.
Can I give birth?
No, you can't.
Bingo. That's why categorization matters.
Owned! Oh, sit down. Next asker. Next interviewee, get out of there. Golly, that is just... You could see her losing her will to live the further the interview went on. Yikes.
So according to the Bureau of Prison Statistics, 38.3% of our current inmate population is Black, but according to the 2020 census data, only 12.2% of our national population is Black. So if you don't believe in white privilege, how do you explain this disparity?
Pausing really quick just to say, she's about to learn what per capita is.
Why do people go to jail?
Why are Black people in jail at higher rates than white people?
That's the question, right? Maybe because they commit more crimes than white people.
But that's not true. According to the Uniform Crime Report for 2019, Black or African American individuals committed only about 1 million crimes, while white people committed about 4 million.
Yeah.
Ooh, so we're going from percentages now to totals. She's being intentionally deceptive here.
So,
but that's proportion.
Yeah, how about the proportion?
There's a lot more white people than Black people in the United States.
It's a 60% white country and a 14% Black country, so you just proved my point.
You switch from proportion to raw numbers. Black people only make up 13% of the population, but they commit 40% of all homicides and 60% of all violent crime.
Why do Blacks have a broken family versus a nuclear family, and does that translate to higher rates of crime?
Why is it that Blacks don't have parents? Why?
Good question. We subsidize single motherhood in this country through the federal government of the United States.
I was just going to say something about that. Like, you know, the government has basically trapped them in the inner cities and put them on, you know, welfare and all that. But Charlie Kirk said it for me.
What do you think about the turnout on the Trump side?
I'm not worried about it because the truth is evident.
What's the truth?
Go look at the news. You know it just as well as I do. I don't have to explain nothing. I'm 37.
Okay. Have a great day, man. What's your age have to do with that?
It's not my age, baby. I'm gonna have wisdom. I've got children of my own and all that. So, baby, weren't you born in the 90s? I need you to get out my face. And 6 foot. Ooh, 6 foot. 6 feet. Thank you.
Oh my God. Still wearing a mask and asking people to keep 6 feet in the year of our Lord 2024. My God. Pathetic. The blue hair should have been a giveaway, though, honestly. If we're being real. Should have known with the blue hair.
Left and be pro-life anymore. Hello.
Hi.
I'm Austin.
I'm enjoying the conversation.
Cool. What do you want to talk about?
I just want to see what you were talking about.
Oh, okay. We're talking about free speech on campus and how bringing a conservative on campus has resulted in some flack and some backlash from some of the students. And talking about sharing multiple ideas and kind of here.
Oh no, I'm gonna just say, that look she gave back to the camera, she had crazy eyes. Something crazy's about to happen. Something crazy about to happen. Did you see the way she looked at the camera? Did you see that? She was like, I'm about to be a crazy bitch.
Bring both sides and engaging in free speech and dialogue on campus and how important that is. Do you agree?
I think it's a difficult question. I'm interested in what you have to say.
About what specifically?
Free speech, or that's what we were talking
Michael
about.
Knowles or free speech, or are you here for the...
Entry into this conversation was to find out what you are talking about. That's why you're here, right? You want
talking about free speech.
Yeah, so talk about it.
Okay, that's an interesting way to approach people.
No, we're asking, do you support free speech? That's what we're basically asking.
I don't have to answer your questions. I'm asking
Yeah, I
you
guess
a
you don't
question.
support it then? Is that
Of
what you
course
don't-
I support
Okay,
free
thank you.
speech. But there is a difference between free speech and hate speech. I'm sure you're...
Oh my God, yeah, that was, you knew that was coming. There's a difference between free speech and hate speech. Actually, there isn't. What is wrong with people? Didn't they get taught the Constitution in elementary school? I just answered my own question. Of course they didn't.
I'm transgender. I'm born and raised here in New Mexico. I have a graduate degree in information technology, marketing, business, and finance. I own my own home. I pay taxes. I have a 6-figure job. I'm a respected professional in Albuquerque. I'm a mother. My life experience is that I'm an awesome person. I am well-liked. I'm responsible. And I think I'm pretty cool. You touched on something. You said something earlier that for you, when somebody calls you a man, it doesn't faze you because, like, you just know that you're a man. That was interesting to me because I feel the same way about my identity as a woman. My question leading up to this, you've asserted that no one would ever see me as a woman, that nobody would ever see or could see a transgender person as a woman, and yet I have dozens of friends from diverse backgrounds. Women from the reservation, a woman from Japan, several immigrant women. I have my coworker.
I'm just waiting. Just wait until she finishes her question, then I'm gonna say something.
Respecting me as a woman, my family, my long-term friends who are actually here with me. All of these people assure me, like, I'm a woman. They'll tell me, girl, like, there is no way you are a man. They see me as a woman. So the question, how can you assert that nobody would ever see me as a woman when my material experience tells me you're wrong?
All right, I'm gonna pause before Matt Walsh jumps in with an answer here to say that, number one, you don't sound like a woman. You sound like a man who sucked in a helium balloon and is trying to pass as a woman. You don't look like a woman. I can tell that you were a man. You got a little bit of guacamole on your face. Sorry, that was a cheap shot. Didn't that was kind of uncalled for, but I had to take it anyway because, oh my God. But you can just tell in the way that the question is phrased that he, whatever. He's seeking external validation, right? I think I'm a pretty cool person. I think this. I think I'm great. Blah, blah, blah. There's other people who see me as women. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah. And that's a big part to do with this whole phenomenon going here. Because these transgender people want people to accept them for who they are when they're obviously not what they claim to be, when they couldn't even accept what they are. They couldn't accept who they are. They looked in the mirror and said, I'm not a man, I'm a woman. But then you want me to look at you and accept you as a woman. It doesn't, it's clown world. All right.
Okay, it's interesting that that's the part of my talk you chose to ask a question about because that's not in my talk at all. I don't believe I said that no one would ever
up. That's why it sounds like helium.
I mean, it's possible, I suppose, that you could fool someone. Now, you brought this up, so I have to tell you that you brought this up. You've put your identity on the table for conversation. And so I'm going to say you wouldn't fool me at all. I mean, I see a man 100%. And I think that most people would. Now, the fact that you have people in your life who are saying to you, oh, you're totally a woman, it's exactly what I'm talking about. No one in my life has ever once said to me, you're totally a man, Matt. You know, if a friend of mine called me on the phone and said, listen, Matt, I want you to know you're really a man, I would think that there was some something wrong with him. I would say, why are you saying that at all? It doesn't make any sense. So the fact that this is a conversation to begin with tells me, it only proves the point that I'm trying to make, that your identity, even in your own mind, is up for, it's something that you need to be assured of.
That's right. That's exactly what I was saying. Seeking the validation of needing to be reminded. Yes, you are a woman. Trust me. You act like one. You sort of kind of sound like one.
Now, what I would like to ask you, again, because you're standing here, and so you've brought your identity on the table for discussion. So how do you know that you're a woman?
It was first when I heard transgender persons describe their experience in their own words, and this was only about 2 years ago. Hearing somebody describe things, it was a woman from like England, describing her experience, her childhood, her teenage years, and it blew my mind to be listening to her, because it was just some podcast that I was listening to while I was like doing laundry. But it blew my mind to hear somebody
doing laundry before you became a woman. Suspicious.
So eloquently and precisely describe things that
I
had experienced.
What did they say?
Okay. So I am honestly hesitant. I know that you touched earlier about the difficulty that transgender women might have in describing their identity. But I want to state, I honestly don't feel that you would engage in this conversation in good faith.
Oh,
why did you stand up to talk to me if you don't want to have a conversation? You're saying that you discovered that you're a woman. I'm asking you how you did. That's a very fair question.
Okay.
How do you know that you're a woman?
That's fine. All right. So first of all, listening to transgender people. And it was like, okay, this is a one-off, one person describing these things. Things like looking at yourself in the mirror and not recognizing yourself. Hearing compliments like, you are such an example, like a positive masculine role model.
Oh,
and
there's that external
being
stuff
like,
again.
It feels like they're talking about somebody else. It means feeling alone, even when you're surrounded by guys, even when you have a lot of friends. And I was active in like Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout. I had great masculine role models my whole life, and yet I never felt like I belonged. I felt welcome and included.
Why does that make you a woman?
Because
as opposed to just a man who doesn't get along with some other men, or a man who's depressed, or a man who doesn't feel at home totally in his body, which, by the way, is a pretty universal human experience. Everybody goes through it at one time or another. So
yeah, that's. I can't say it much better than Matt Walsh did, because you just... there's no rhyme or reason to these people, honestly. That was a rambling, incoherent answer. There was... I feel like the Billy Madison clip. At no point during your incoherent rambling did you come up with anything that resembled a coherent thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to all of the witnesses for being here. Before
Josh Hawley has a
I
great voice.
Visit with you, Ms. Meskey, but before I do, I just want to clear one thing up. Professor Bridges, you said several times.
I wish I had his voice.
Phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning...
Oh, God. Before she finishes this question, she's already being so condescending. Maybe I should try to have a little bit of a voice like Senator Hawley here so I can really let her know that she's asking a dumb question here. But oh, my God, you can even tell in the tone of her voice. Like she's trying to have a gotcha moment. It's not a good way to have a productive conversation.
Is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not...
Oh my God!
Wow,
spare me!
I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies.
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
because of my line of questioning. So we can't talk about it
because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm denying that trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies.
Do you believe that women can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can
So
get
you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people like this?
And that leads to violence.
Oh,
Is this how
God.
you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you, or are
Absolutely.
they also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that
to
they're
question.
opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning.
class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know.
exchange.
Absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Holy shit, dude. That's crazy. There's no way. If she's treating a senator like that, a United States senator in Congress, how do you think she treats the kids in her classroom? Dude, those kids probably get whipped. They probably get beat. One of those kids said, misgendered somebody. One of those kids misgendered somebody in her classroom. Get brought out back and beaten with the paddle, just like the old days, man. All right, till next time. Stay safe out there in Clown World.